Today on Hampton Roads Business Weekly, a local insurance company becomes a social media powerhouse.
Plus, the secret to creating great content for your business Facebook page.
And one company's unique way of working with freelancers. That's next on Hampton Roads Business Weekly.
Welcome to Hampton Roads Business Weekly, a look at the businesses and entrepreneurs making a difference right here in Hampton Roads. I'm Zack Miller.
And I'm Cheryl Tan. Today we kick things off by talking insurance and social media. You wouldn't think the two would mix, but they do. Take a look. Sometimes local businesses don't understand the power of social media, but Richard Brawn, the president of the Brawn Agency, you have. So thanks for talking with us today.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
And we want to hear about your social media success in what some people would call a dry business. You're in insurance and financial services.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it's not one of those businesses that you would expect people to engage with you on social media. It's not as fun as some other businesses might be, right? But we have had a lot of success engaging with people online on both LinkedIn and Facebook and having a constant presence with the people that are important to us. So this didn't happen overnight where we were able to connect with people, right? It takes a while to do it. But we're a relationship-driven business, and so we manage a lot of relationships offline and one-to-one, and we do a whole host of things to be in front of people. But clearly, people spend a lot of time online. I think people spend an average of 90 minutes or a couple hours a day on Facebook. It's some really crazy amount of time. And so it was obvious to us that if we wanted to engage with our clients, engage with our referral sources, that we need to be where they are, which is on social media.
Nice. So if they find your Facebook page, it's the Brawn Agency. Talk about some numbers. You've got more than 3,000 people who like your page, and you're pretty consistent with your content. So talk about what it is you post and what's the result from it.
All right, well, so a couple things. We're pretty proud. We became the most liked insurance agency in Virginia.
Very nice.
Which is kind of a claim that we like to brag about a little bit. And it, like I said, it took some time. But there's a few concepts that we follow. One is we're constantly posting fresh content that we create. So the content that's really successful, that resonates online, is stuff that it's engaging to the people that we care about. Mm-hmm. So it typically involves stuff that we're involved in the community or things about our agency, kind of like a behind the doors, behind the scenes approach where they can see what happens with our team and what we're doing in the community. So things that people find interesting. They don't care about us posting up about car insurance or home insurance. That's not important to them, but they like to see how we're involved in the community, and and that's very engaging content.
Very nice. And so what happens when you post it? The engagement, the result in your business even?
So we do a couple things. Most of the content that we create starts on our website, and then we will post the links to that content on Facebook and LinkedIn. We'll share it so that eventually that traffic drives back to our website and also gets people to where we want them, where they can engage with our products and services and learn more about our company. So it starts off by creating the content that we find to be valuable on our website, and then we will post it on social media. And then in order for something to be visible on social media, Facebook and LinkedIn figured it out. You have to pay to play. So you have to then boost your content so that it shows up in the feeds where people can then engage with it.
Some people might be thinking and listening to all this and thinking, that's a lot of time, it's a lot of effort. Talk about some of that and what you do to manage the time issue and how you actually get it all done. Yeah,
that's a great question. So first of all, I have a great team that I work with, and Kelly that does
She's
director
amazing.
of our marketing. She is amazing. And so I'm very fortunate in that regard, but there's a lot of tools to make it more efficient. So a lot of the things that she's able to do, she's able to plan in advance, and she'll spend a very specific amount of time for content that's going to show up throughout the week or a couple week period of time. So a lot of that can be condensed so that you're not always having to do activity. There's some tools out there to make that a lot more efficient.
That makes it easier for a business owner to think about if they're going to tackle this as a project.
Yeah.
And in your opinion, should they?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so anecdotally speaking, people are telling us that they're seeing our content all the time and that we're top of mind. And so that's obviously very important if you're in a relationship-driven business, right? But in addition to the anecdotal evidence, we see direct engagement on social media and direct requests for people to engage with them and see what we can do to offer our services to them. So it's had a measurable impact on our business, and I highly recommend it. One of the points that I'll make is that when we made the decision to do it, it was important that we made a conscious decision and a plan to continue with that effort. So one of the things that I've seen some businesses do is they kind of stick their toe in there, but they're not committed to it, and it's not going to work. You have to be fully committed to providing content continuously and boosting it, and having a commitment to being there for your clients and the market.
Being all in.
All in.
All in. Richard, thank you very much, and congratulations.
Thank you.
We have more Hampton Roads Business Weekly to come, but first, it's your chance to let us know what you think about the show. Just tweet your comments or your questions to HR Biz Weekly. We'd love to hear from you.
Have you ever been at a festival, you look up and you see one of those drones flying around and you're scared for your life or your fingers? Well, Casper the Friendly Drone, he's going to protect you. Max built it. It's next on Hampton Roads Business Weekly. Welcome back to Hampton Roads Business Weekly. We're here with Max DePiro of UAPS, Unmanned Aerial Propulsion Systems.
Yes, sir.
That was a tongue twister, and I got it in there. So I think what's really interesting is you are in kind of the prototype stage of getting your product out there, and you're developing a drone for professional services.
Correct.
How did you learn that this was a product that professionals needed?
So it was earlier this year. We were at a music festival, standing in the crowd, watching the band play, and there was this drone, professional drone, taking video of the crowd and the band. And
so like a big drone that you normally see with the big propellers inside?
Yeah, DJI, the big, large propellers with motors exposed, making a big buzzing noise, and you know, everyone's kind of joking around. You could tell everyone's kind of uncomfortable because they're scary, and you can really hear and feel it, and so it kind of just flying back home after the festival, thinking about it, I was like, you know, I could come up with something better than that for you know, flying around people and around crowds, and something that could be quieter, that would look safer.
Are you an engineer by trade?
I am.
Okay.
So my background is in propulsion. I just finished my PhD from the University of Virginia, and I was working at NASA.
All right, so you got the idea. You think it could have some wings to it, and then how do you get to this?
Yeah, so first it was convincing my dad. So I convinced him, I wrote up a proposal, formal proposal. I gave it to him. He was on board.
How old are you?
I'm 30 now.
Okay.
I was 29 at the time.
Okay.
And my sister's a third-year engineering student, and she was having trouble finding a good internship. So I also wrote into the proposal that she'd come for the summer and help me with some of the testing and programming.
Cool.
And so then we started designing. We learned a ton. The design we started with was not this, and we had no branding. We didn't even really understand our market and who our customers really were and how to break in.
And how do you learn some of those things?
I've had a lot of mentorship from people along the way, specifically Daniel Morris at the Peninsula Technology Incubator. He's been a huge help. And then just listening to everyone, just people like yourself, just getting in front of them, talking about what I'm doing, and people pick up on that you enjoy what you're doing, you really want to make it happen, and people want to help you.
And so this is the prototype, so you're still putting it together, as you can see, pieces here. Mm-hmm. So technically, you know how to do this. Mm-hmm. For someone that's technically savvy, where do you learn the business skills to get in front of someone to sell something that could be, we're talking 5 figures, what, $15,000 to $25,000?
Yeah, that's actually been a lot of fun because I've never done the business side before. You know, you could say business is easy. Oh, you build a product, you sell it for more than you build it for, and you make a profit. But it's so complex, and you know, just putting myself in front of people who've been doing it for a long time and trying to learn as much as possible. That's how I've gone about educating myself.
What type of stuff are you looking to learn?
Anywhere from startup finance. Startup finance is very different from a lot of other businesses because the risk involved, the type of investment, the investor's outlook on the business is totally different than other kinds of businesses.
You also won Start Peninsula this year, and Start Peninsula is a build a company in a weekend competition. Mm-hmm. Congrats on that. What do you do with the $10,000 that you
So it frees me up to start making more parts. I've actually started ordering more parts, buying stuff like computer system for my office, all the communications for this. So I bought, they make these DIY chips, as a Lynx Motion DIY drone control system. It's got instrumentation on board. It's got the calibrations already set. It's awesome.
So like a Raspberry Pi specific for drones?
Yeah, it's actually built on the Arduino architecture, and you can program it. It actually comes with, if you're building like a standard drone kit, it comes with a programming environment. You just set the parameters and upload it, and it's good.
Cool.
Whereas mine, I have to do all the programming manually. But
so, you solve a problem, you realize that you can do it. You join an incubator like PTI up in Hampton. You win competitions like Start Peninsula, and hopefully and ultimately you will turn this into a business that will be successful and do the things that you want just because you were at a concert and want to feel safer.
Yeah.
Max, thank you so much.
Thank you.
This was a pleasure.
We're taking the sports concept of free agency to marketing with Ken Whalen, the president of Free Agents Marketing in Norfolk, coming up. From a marketer to a business owner, we're happy to talk today with Ken Whalen, the president of Free Agents Marketing. Ken, thanks so much for sharing your journey with us.
Well, thank you so much for having me here. It's good to see you again.
Good to see you as well. And marketing is in your blood. Is that safe to say?
DNA.
DNA. It's all in there. What is it about marketing that you love?
I just love the ability to, impact clients through messaging. Marketing is an interesting concept just in the sense that, people kind of confuse it sometimes with branding or advertising. They're different. A brand is not necessarily what you say it is, it's what your customers say it is.
Right.
It's not always a logo or a tagline, and I think when you integrate with those clients to really effectively communicate that message, that's marketing.
Nice. And you did marketing for big companies before you decided to go out on your own. Will you talk about that shift when you decided, I'm going to be the boss?
I knew I always wanted to do marketing. Post-collegiate, I jumped on with Subaru, did some marketing with Subaru for 10 years, and then I joined Clear Channel Communications. At the time I got there were 18 radio stations. When I left, there were 1,240. Started Free Agents in 2001, and we're headquartered in Richmond, Virginia. And the concept of the company, exactly as the name alludes to, is it's very much like the sports analogy. So the intent was always to keep the company small and go out and draft talent based on the client needs. Right. So it's kind of like football. If you needed a cornerback or a linebacker, you would go out and draft that free agent. And that's what we did. In 2015, we had over 160 free agents that we used in a combination of the two markets. So it really helps the client meet efficiencies. Not everybody needs a six-figure website. We have a free agent for that. So that's kind of how we have worked.
Gotcha. And so that is a different model as opposed to having everybody on staff.
It is.
You collect people as you need them for the clients that you work with. How does bringing all these new ideas help you with the clients that you have right now?
Well, I think, most recently here in Hampton Roads, we had the honor and privilege of working with the Hampton Roads Chamber on a rebranding initiative. And Brian Stevens, the CEO, is so passionate about being impactful on the region, both from regionalism and business, and his team was wonderful. So it was just a fantastic journey just to be able to work with that group. And again, we used several free agents. We had videographers that we had used from the market, and it all came together, and we launched it December 8th of last year. So
very
that was a fun journey.
And we're watching the journey of Waterside too, something that you're having a hand in.
We've partnered with Waterside about a year ago. The developer is Cordish out of Baltimore, and it is just such a fantastic, because anybody in the region that is familiar with Waterside knew of that as a product that was instrumental to the region. And I think Cordish is bringing that back. We are so excited. We're going to bring that online at the end of April, and it's going to be just a fantastic product. It's going to be a combination of arts, education, entertainment. It's going to be fun.
Let's go back to marketing.
Yes.
And maybe the problems you see with businesses, maybe that you work with or that you don't, in their marketing. what can people do better to get their message across, to have a message that speaks to the people they're trying to speak to?
That is a great question. And a lot of times what ends up happening is you need to view marketing or having a marketing partner as an investment and not an expense. Because what ends up happening is a lot of companies can talk about what they do, they can talk about how they do it, but what's most important is, why does it matter? And that's where I think a marketing company or partner can come at it from a different perspective and really put that shine on that apple to tell that story effectively. One of our clients that we're so proud and privileged to work with is LifeNet over in Virginia Beach. And most people know them as an OPO, or which is an acronym for an organ procurement organization. And everybody knows the value of saving lives through organ donation, but they are doing fantastic work in research and fantastic work in tissue recovery. So they're not only saving lives, but they're restoring health. And to be able to create that story and share it with the community is so rewarding.
Powerful.
Yes.
Ken, what's ahead for Free Agents Marketing?
Oh, wow. You know, first of all, we are so excited. I think I shared with you that we opened the Hampton Roads office in 2008 in Suffolk, and then we moved to Norfolk January 1st of 2016.
Congratulations. Ken, thank you so much
Pleasure.
for talking with us today.
Thank you, Cheryl.
What do a guitar and advertising have in common? I have no idea, but next on Hampton Roads Business Weekly, it's Lindsay Germano. She's going to tell you how to create content for your business. Welcome back to Hampton Roads Business Weekly. We're here with Lindsay Germano of Germano Advertising. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you.
So content is king. Everyone's talking about content. Let's talk about maybe where someone should produce content, on what mediums, traditional, paid or not, social, and how to maybe put that into a calendar.
Okay, so it has to go the other way.
Okay.
You've got to have a calendar, and then you create the content, because the calendar is going to tell you holidays. You know, if you're a financial consultant, you need to factor in tax season.
Sure.
So look at a calendar first, and then
So I get like a big piece of paper out?
Yeah, just get one of those big daddies where it like sits
Nice.
on the table, and you want to actually have your monthly content all planned out before the month starts, so that you're not frantically posting things on social media, or you're not up against, you know, a wall when your television campaign is getting ready to start. So you want to have everything out, you know, 30 days in advance at least, and then just have some spaces for things that you want to post on the fly. You talked a lot about content, and what I would recommend, let's just continue with social media. I think that's probably the one that resonates a lot with folks.
People love it.
I love using a 3-2-1 strategy.
Okay.
So if you're looking at a week, 3 of your posts should be related to your industry. So if your industry is lawn care, it's going to be things that are environmentally friendly. You know, what trends are happening in the lawn care industry? What types of equipment you bring out when you go to client sites?
So more of the educational side of
Absolutely.
On the 3? Yeah.
So 3 of those posts should be something related to your industry, and then 2 posts should be something related to your business. So if you are, let's continue with the lawn care. Whoever is in lawn care that's watching this is going to be like jot notes.
Gems, yes.
So it could be things like some of your employees. You know, featuring that person that's been with your company for a really long time. Another idea would be some of the nonprofits that you may support. So you're really giving that kind of warm and fuzzy to your company. And also, and this is the reason why you're doing that, is because people don't like to be sold, right? So if we're on social media and we're just posting our prices, I don't care about that. I want to know more about the company, and I'll actually pay more if I think that this company is supporting a cause that I also support. And then that last post, the 3-2-1, should have a call to action. And again, in social media, you have to be careful, because I don't want, you know, people to just throw prices at me.
Right.
So you can say things like a free consultation, or call us today and we'll come out, you know, and talk with you about your lawn care needs, or whatever that looks like.
So can I be the producer of all of those? Meaning, I have a website and it's 123lawncare.com. If that's a real website, you guys are lucky.
Hey, 123.
Right? 123lawncare.com. And I produce those 3 pieces of education content. I did the 2 pieces on my employees or testimonials or something like that. And obviously 2 and 1 will be 123 Lawn Care. But on the educational side, am I featuring Inc.com or Hampton Roads Business Weekly, or am I producing that content?
I would pull from other sources. Organically, that will help your reach anyway. If you start tagging Forbes and
Right.
sharing an article that they did about environmentally friendly processes for waste, and you're relating that to this is a process that we use too. Now people are seeing, oh, this is Forbes. This is great. If Forbes ever writes about that, I don't know. Hey, maybe.
We will find out, because soon 123lawncare.com is
Right.
coming out. How do I understand who my customer is that I should be talking to and that they actually want that information? And how can I kind of dissect the data once I get it to make sure that my mom love you, Mom, that she's not the only one liking that post?
We said this earlier off, we weren't taping, but we were talking about something else, and I said, well, don't forget that those people know people too.
Sure.
So, you really need to understand your analytics and your insights, which social media platforms will start telling you, especially if you have a Facebook business page. It'll tell you like the city that those people live in. And asking your customers. So a lot of people forget that. They're like, I don't know, we want to reach anybody 18 plus. Look at your current customers and if they're females calling you and they're 35, they have two kids in the household, follow that. Don't try and invent the wheel. Tapping into who you're currently using and looking at that and servicing and going, okay, this is our customer base.
So understanding what your inventory is saying, who is saying it, and then reaching out and saying, is this what you want, and more of it.
Right.
Awesome. Lindsay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And with that, we wrap up another edition of Hampton Roads Business Weekly.
Make sure you like us on Facebook and Twitter, and head over to hrbusinessweekly.com to get more information and watch previous shows.
For Hampton Roads Business Weekly, I'm Zack Miller.
And I'm Cheryl Tan. We'll see you next week.
Hampton Roads Business Weekly, sponsored by Regent University and produced by 13 News Now.